So you're listening to Radio Shields, and tonight I'm talking with Lalita. She's known as, her spiritual name is Lalita, or Marnie. And Marnie is the founder, the owner, the director of Free Your Voice, which is a fantastic organisation that was established in 2012, if I'm right. And it combines, and I love this, it combines sort of therapeutic work, counselling and singing, and using the power that is singing in your voice to heal and to help you to transform, to help you to grow, to help you develop, and to help you kind of step into a new life, a new future. Marnie, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
You're welcome. Hi, everybody.
Have I done a good enough job of introducing you? Because I know that you've got like about a million different, I'm going to call them, I like to talk about tools and skills in your toolbox. I know that you've got a lot of different skills and techniques that you bring to your practice. But this approach with singing is what really jumped out at me as unique. But tell me a little bit about who you are and all of the things that you do.
Okay. So I'm a qualified and practicing counsellor for 15 years. And that was my main sort of bread and butter, if you like. And I had a background in youth work and family work. But running alongside that, I've always been a singer. I've recorded various things and been in bands and what have you. And apparently I was singing basically as a child constantly. So I became aware really of the joy that I get from singing, but also how when you see children, for example, just singing their little hearts out, and that real expression that happens. But that over the years we get told, oh my God, you can't sing, or like you sound like a strangled cat, or you're the one stood at the back of the choir. And I think we lose the joy of singing and we replace it with a fear of being self-conscious. And it just becomes a thing that we don't express anymore. And
it's so true, isn't it? Even when you go to church at Christmas and you're singing a carol, I always belt it out because I love it. Sing. But I'm always aware of how people to the left and to the right of me are not really singing, or they are singing. They're singing kind of very quietly. And I think the only time people quite often ever really sing is when they're in the shower nowadays. They're opening that
or in the car.
Or in the car, yes.
Well, it's funny you say no one's listening, because one of my sort of mottos really is sing like, nobody's listening. You sing your heart out. It doesn't matter, And a great example of it is when you see people that go to football matches and they chant.
Oh, yes.
And it's like that real expression, and it's a way of releasing emotion, whether it be that joyous chanting or, So
I love the banter that you get in football songs. The absolute comedy factor that you get in some of these songs, it's hilarious. And when you're all singing it together, there's something wonderful about that, you being united in song. But there's something great when that song is an insult to your opposition team, especially when it's a comical one.
Some of them can be a bit personal, but something you said there about singing in unison, I mean, this is one of the reasons I set Free Your Voice up initially, was to get people singing together. So not just in the shower and not just in the car on their own, because there's so much scientific research that goes into the benefits of singing, especially within community.
Yeah. Tell me about the just the well-being benefits of singing. I mean, like, let's talk science for a bit, because there's a lot of research, isn't there, that singing helps you in multiple ways, with your breathing, with your physical fitness. There's all the community. Right. Tell me more about that. Tell me more about this.
I mean, you've just touched on, some of the main ones. So the respiratory, because you're using such breathing techniques, or just the very notion that you're breathing in and expressing out, breathing in oxygen and releasing carbon dioxide. And the rhythmic breathing allows the heart rate to kind of slow down. But also it's great for sinuses and headaches and migraines. It lowers blood pressure. And when we're singing something like a mantra, for example, we go into different brain states. So I'll not bore you too much with the science, but we've got things like...
I'm a right science geek. Me, bring it on.
So we've got different brains sort of states of like alpha and beta and theta. And when we chant, we go into some of the lower brain frequencies that are similar to when we're dozing or daydreaming, or even when we're kind of going into that sleeping state of mind. It just relaxes the whole body, the cells, the bones, everything begins to come down a level rather than being up here all the time. But again, going back to the sharing of singing, that brings in, it combats things like isolation, loneliness. And when we're all singing from the same hymn book, so to speak, it brings in this unity, and people connect via the heart. You know, they connect via this tool that they're not using otherwise. It also opens our throat chakra as well. I mean, you know, I could talk about chakras for a while, but I don't want to get too scientific. But again, many people that come to me for one-to-one voice therapy, they're experiencing, for example, sore throats a lot, or they might be stuck with something. They might be wanting to express something, but they can't. And so singing and vocal techniques allow them to open the throat chakra and express themselves. So it's literally just one of the most beneficial, easy thing to do. There's no tricks really needed. And the other thing about my work is that you don't have to be a singer. It's not the X factor.
Well, thank goodness for that.
You know, I'd be living in the Bahamas now if I had £1 for everyone that says, oh, but I can't sing. And it's like, you can open your mouth and see what comes out. And
make some beautiful noises.
Yeah, make some weird noises. I've had people in my sessions barking like a dog, for example. Or howling.
Oh my goodness.
And it's just ways of releasing, you know.
Yeah.
So it's this real abandonment.
I work with women who are pregnant, and I help to prepare them for their births. And so I know the power of breathing, because I know that just by changing the way that you breathe, you change the chemicals that are being released in your brain. And by changing the way that you breathe, it almost gives us access, if you like, to the pharmacy in our minds. And we can release pain relieving chemicals. We can release
serotonin and
happiness chemicals. We can release chemicals that make us feel like we've achieved something. And you know, when you're birthing, all of those chemicals are amazing and helpful. So breathing, just by changing the way that you breathe, can change the way that you feel and how your body is responding. I also know that when I'm talking to my ladies about birthing, I always get to say, like, you're gonna want to make noise. It's gonna be the weirdest made in your life. Some people have described it like mooing like a cow.
Yeah, it's really primal, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, some people.
And those sounds are all, they're all locked in us. They're primal. They were given to us. Like I say, think of children that just go around whooping and making like cowboy and Indian noises, and all of that stuff's there. But we become, what I describe it as is I want people to become sound conscious rather than self-conscious, because and it's, what is it? I ask people when we're doing the voice therapy work to tell me about their first experiences of voice, or to tell me about maybe a time when their voice was censored. Because usually if you go back to that place, we can see that there was some censoring happened, some filtering, and therefore they don't want to express anymore.
So
So
an
we work on that.
experience that they might have had in their life has caused them to kind of sort of moving forward from that experience has caused them to almost repress their desire to sing even.
Yeah, the
And
natural desire.
yeah, because singing's like a natural, beautiful thing that we all do. I know that when you travel, when you go to different countries, there's music and singing and poetry and that kind of expression is in every single culture in the world, isn't it? You know, the
Yeah,
different Aboriginals and the native
absolutely.
Indians, and everybody
Yeah.
has song and the songs, special songs for family times, special songs for ceremony.
And what have we got? We've got Happy Birthday to you.
I do
And
love
God.
I do love a good rendition of Happy Birthday. I always try and do a Marilyn Monroe version.
Yeah, I've been guilty of that one. But it's
and
interesting you
God save the
saying,
Queen.
what, you read
Oh,
my
that's
mind.
what we sing, isn't it? God save the Queen and
So
Happy
these
Birthday.
are our patriot, these are our British songs. And I've just been in India. I was in India just this January for a month.
Oh, lovely.
And obviously my passion is mantra. And I mean, literally,
Okay,
like you say,
you're gonna have to tell us a
every
bit more.
day.
Tell me a bit more about what a mantra is, because we had
Okay.
a lady called Jill on a couple of months ago, and she played us a beautiful mantra. And I have an understanding of what they are, but explain to me in like I'm 5, like what a mantra is. What
Okay,
is a
so
mantra?
what is a mantra? So mantras are based on the sacred ancient sound vibrations of cultures, for example, the Hindu culture, which are the
Okay.
mantras that I use, and they're in the Sanskrit language, the ancient language. One of the definitions of mantra that I use the most, because I think it's really clear and it's a nice image, is mantra translates to vehicle of the mind.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's lovely.
So when we repeat a mantra, it carries us along. It just kind of the repetition. So most mantras, especially the ones that I tend to use, like Om Namah Shivaya, it's so simple and repetitive, but the vibration of sound in it again allows the brain to go into this very relaxed state of mind because it's not thinking about anything else. It's not thinking about what you're going to make for tea tonight, or school uniforms that need ironing. It's purely this repetition. So like Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, and you can't think of anything else. You just keep repeating it, and you
So
focus on the
if you're
breath.
in a state of anxiety or your head's very busy, this is a really powerful way, isn't it, of taking yourself
Amazing.
away from that very busy mind, away from that kind of sense of life's quite overwhelming, and just kind of switching that off just for a little bit and focusing on something that, I love that you said, drives your mind in a more positive direction. It can help to change how you feel.
Yeah, and the groups that I run are called mantra meditation because it's used as a really effective form of meditation, especially for those people that sit and try and meditate, like this, mustn't think of anything. But their mind's going all over the place. And then,
that's a horrible place to be. Yeah.
It is, because you feel like then you've failed, or, I can't meditate. And I find that mantra meditation is a wonderful way of, like I say, you've got something to hook onto, if you like, but it's nothing that's going to take you anywhere other than this beautiful repetitive journey. It's very peaceful.
I remember I went on to a silent meditation. It was when I'd first started meditating, and I thought that meditation was just about getting your head to stop talking and and finding that silence within or something. And my head was very, very busy. And I remember sitting in a meditation group, and it was a silent meditation, and I was a bit hungry, and I started thinking about fish and chips. And I was like, ooh, fish and chips, mushy peas. Get that out of your head now. Take that out of your head. I could see a picture of them. I could smell them. I was like,
Wow.
go away, go away. And I pushed the fish and chips out of my mind. And then I was thinking, nachos, guacamole. And I was like, I can't believe I'm sitting here meditating.
Yeah.
Fish and chips.
Yeah. Oh, all sorts,
nachos
all
and
sorts of
guacamole.
rubbish comes into the mind. You see, you could have made that into a mantra, couldn't you? Fish and chips and mushy peas. Fish and chips and mushy peas.
Now you're
nothing
talking.
else.
So a mantra is a great way, isn't it, of just clearing your mind, and it's a lovely positive focus. It's a lovely medium, if you like, or a meditation tool, isn't it, to help.
Yeah, and it's so simple and it doesn't require anything. I love that about it, that all you need to do is sit and be still. You know, I mean, I was given a sacred mantra by my guru, so I received mantra initiation. And this mantra that I received has been, the lineage of it is thousands upon thousands of years. So the ancient sages right back were repeating the same mantra. And when we are given it, it's a very auspicious day, you know, and we have to do preparation for it. We have to fast. And you only get given it if you're going to honor this mantra. And I use it every single day to kind of calm my mind, to protect me. And, you know, you get drawn to different mantras. There's mantras for each of the kind of deities, like, you know, Shiva, Ganesha, you know, the elephant god. So it's just very simple and very easy. There's no right or wrong way to do it. And I accompany us with Indian organ. It's called harmonium. And it just creates this lovely drone in the background. Yeah.
Does that look a bit like one of those squeeze box things? Does it look a bit like a squeeze box?
It's on the floor. It's too heavy to lift up, but yeah, it's a keyboard, and it's powered by air.
Seen some of those when I've done some meditation with using different sounds like Om and Om. Whether you're an Om or an Oma.
And Om is literally the most powerful sound in the whole universe. It's revered to be the first sound that ever was.
Incredible.
And that in itself, just sitting when you feel nervous or anxious and you repeat Om, it's just so beautiful.
I have it's Om Mani Padme Hum that I
beautiful,
use.
The chant of compassion.
It just feels nurturing, and I find it just takes me to a place of real deep peace. And if I've got a really busy head and I'm struggling to get into meditation, I might just bring that in as well. It's lovely.
Yeah.
So, as well as the mantras that you teach and you have kind of singing groups with, and you help to educate people on a one-to-one as well, you also do something called Kirtan Singing groups.
Kirtan, yeah.
Kirtan. What's that? I don't even know how to say it properly. What is it?
So it's very similar, but Kirtan is often a little bit more fun, for example. So it's devotional singing, and it's often based on a call and response. So I might sit with my guitar or my harmonium and I'll sing a line. They tend to be slightly longer than the short clipped mantras that we repeat. So they're beautiful devotional songs. And then I'll sing a line like, say, for example, Hare Krishna, you know. And then the sort of group sings back, and we get this gorgeous wave of call and response. But people we go faster and faster. People can bring sort of drums. And it's just a really fantastic way to kind of feel uplifted, basically.
Do you know, we just live in a time, don't we, where we're so busy with everything that we do, and sometimes we can get a bit weighed down, and we can feel a bit overwhelmed. How gorgeous is it that you provide a space where people can come together and experience that joy and just feel that good from coming together. It sounds amazing.
Oh, thanks. And it's such a beautiful gift. And I think the other thing, apart from the mantra and kirtan, are the free voice groups that originated at Cullercoats Community Centre back in 2012, and they are very much about exercises and games as well with the voice, so that we get playful with it. Pair work, group work, doing daft stuff like just making crazy noises. I'd do an exercise called jibber jabber, and it's hilarious. People just and again, it's this kind of it's playing. Yeah, it's so good. And then we sing songs from African songs, Inuit songs from all over the globe that are just so, like, you can't help but feel good. I've always said it's impossible to not feel good when you're singing in a group of people.
I think it's true. Yeah. Group singing's amazing, isn't it? I've been in a couple of different choirs, and I've always found just singing is a great healer as well. If you've had a bad day and you go and you meet up with your friends and you get together and you sing, and it's great. It is really uplifting. And I
think that's why karaoke took off so much as well.
Go on then. What's your favourite karaoke song? Have you got?
Oh, now you're asking.
Have you got a guilty pleasure?
I have indeed, actually. So my go-to karaoke song is "Hopelessly Devoted to You" by Olivia Newton-John from Greece.
Oh, you get 10 out of 10 on the cheese factor.
I know. I won a competition with that one time many years ago. I think I won a blooming meat draw or something bizarre. I don't even eat it.
It's not much good if you're vegetarian.
No, I wasn't a corn draw.
just a veggie box would have been nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, well, we've all got those, haven't we? Songs that take us to places, to memories. We've got songs that we connect to romantic times, songs that we connect to sad times as well. Music really can take us to places, and it can help us to heal in so many different ways. Was it your idea to combine singing and counselling? Was that something that you have created yourself? Because I think this is the first time I've ever come across this kind of therapy work.
So I think, like I mentioned just at the start there, it was almost like they were running alongside each other, because the counselling I've been doing for 15 years, and then I set up Free Your Voice 8 years ago, and I realised that both were about expressing ourselves and feeling free and non-judged and, held in doing that. So obviously not all my counselling sessions require singing, and in fact, to be honest, they're quite separate. I mean, obviously when I'm counselling, following the sort of guidelines, my training and everything. So don't be feeling, audience, that if you come for counselling with me, that I'm going to be making you sing. Not the case at all. I mean, my counselling work is separate. But I do use a lot of tools in my counselling that help people express themselves, So I use guided meditations if they want, art if they want, and some voice work too. But the main way that I kind of mix them together is my one-to-one voice therapy. So that is very much using counselling skills, exploring the background that the clients had, and then bringing in the voice work. So that's where it marries together the most. So I've got my singing work, my counselling work, but where they marry is the voice therapy. So like I say, I get people to feel into a time that they feel they lost their voice or what the block is. So we're working with the whole person and the voice and the chakras. So it's much more of a holistic thing.
One of my students, actually, who's she's currently completing my diploma in clinical hypnotherapy. She works with women who they're currently living in a hostel and have experienced domestic violence, abuse at home. It's become unsafe for them to live, to continue to live in the family home, and a lot of them have had to leave and quite often bring their children, they've left and had to take their children with them as well. And one of the things that we were talking about, herself and I were talking about this the other week, was that they very much feel that when they've been through that abuse, that trauma, that really dark and troubling time, that that as mums they feel like they have lost their ability to express who they are. They've kind of lost their voice, haven't they?
Lost their voice, yeah, absolutely. Again, through being censored or being told they're not enough, you know, this kind of, it's the chipping down, and then you lose that authenticity, you lose the uniqueness of who you are, and how to express, because you've probably been told to shut up or not to speak, or that your points aren't valid. And it's for example, working with that kind of client group is really powerful, again, of helping them find this voice, you know, find who they are, make some noise, cry, snot, look, like a crazy woman, get it all out, but start to feel where all of this hurt and pain's been stored, and allow it to kind of travel up and out. The voice is the messenger. The mouth is the voice piece, you know, it's the messenger, and it's this channel of communication. And if it's been blocked for any reason by censorship or not, you know, told we're not enough, then where do all those feelings go? They have to all just get stuck and stored inside. And so by opening this channel of communication, we allow the pain, the sadness, the joy, whatever wants to be expressed, to come out.
It's a great release of pain. It's a great release of joy, isn't it? And I think and I think that release enables people to really see and feel and understand who they are again, if they've become quite disconnected from themselves for whatever reason. You know, they might be working lots, they might be going through a stressful time, they might just be really, really busy and not really have a lot of time to just be with themselves. And this kind of therapeutic work really does I can really see the power of how it would really reconnect them to yourselves as well. And I can imagine it would be fantastic for children, because this is what we want, isn't it? We want children to learn who they are. We want children to understand themselves better, so they can manage their own emotions.
Absolutely.
I can imagine this work would be. Do you work with children as well?
So, I mean, as a counsellor, I have, and I was a school counsellor. Yeah, I did about 3 years, and I set up a young person's counselling service when I lived in Suffolk. But group work, yes, I used to work with home-educated families, and they would all come along, and it was such great fun, because, like I say, children, they don't really have the ego, they don't have that self-consciousness. And it was just wonderful seeing those children express themselves through sounds and silly games, you know, making that various animal noises. But in a more therapeutic sense, yes, you know, you can maybe get them to, if they can't locate feelings, for example, you might say, if you were a lion, what might he have to say about this? You know, and you might get a child that can roar, or you might get a little mouse sound, or, you know, you can really play around with it so that it's kind of taking it away from them, and you're personifying a feeling via a character
so helpful,
who has a voice.
I think with I'm going to say computer generation, because a lot of our young people, the way that they connect and communicate with each other is via text messages, via various chatting sites on the internet, or via phones. You know, it's through gaming, and people don't always know how to be emotionally with each other, and they don't always know how to be emotionally with themselves, because the kind of technology that we have does tend to disconnect us from our emotions a little bit, and we don't always learn what emotions are. We don't always know that this incredibly powerful, overwhelming feeling that I'm experiencing is anger, or it's because I'm feeling afraid and I need to protect myself from something. People they're not always in tune with what emotions they're feeling and why. I could see this therapy really connecting you to that deeper understanding of how you're feeling what you're feeling, and why you're feeling what you're feeling, and how to respond better as well. Is that something that you found that it really helps people
Yeah,
connect?
yeah. I mean, you know, you've described it great. That's exactly what happens, and I think just having tools to help people work out what they're feeling. So you know, it's where are you feeling that in your body? What sound might it make?
Mm-hmm.
What color would it be? You know, what
Mm.
shape is it? All those ways of kind of thinking beyond the norm, I suppose.
Yeah,
Uh,
I love that.
yeah. So
We
yeah,
call that submodalities
yeah.
in NLP or hypnotherapy, and
Okay.
it's and I love using sound, because
Yeah.
it really does connect with us at a very primal level. You do family free your voice sessions at home as well, don't you? Do you go to the family home and work with?
No, so the family free your voice were the home ed families that I was talking about.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but I have worked with young people on a one-to-one voice therapy. There was a young girl, 14, and the work that took place with her, one-to-one voice therapy, she came to me for about 7 sessions, and the transformation was just absolutely unbelievable. She's probably one of my it was just such a joy to work with her. And I do offer home visits if people want them. Actually,
Okay.
not for counselling, but for the one-to-one mantra work or the one-to-one voice therapy, and that's with young people or adults. I don't know if you're going to mention the retreat that I have coming up, because I'd really like to talk about that, if
Oh
that's
yeah, of
okay.
course. Please do.
Um,
Yeah.
so this is my fourth retreat now that's coming up on May the 1st. So it's that bank holiday weekend, May the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th. So it's the Friday night to the Monday lunchtime. And it's up at Burnlaw, which is in Hexham. And it's a beautiful centre there out in the middle of this gorgeous countryside. So it's taken place there. And the retreat is called Heart Rest and Soul Song. And it very
Beautiful.
much, yeah, and it's the fourth one of its kind. And this time it's 3 days. The other times have been two, but we felt there was so much. And I've incorporated a full day of silence into this one,
Wow.
but it's a held silence. So, for example, we'll go on a silent nature walk, or I'll run a silent relaxation class. You know, I'll be talking, but so basically, it incorporates all the stuff that I've talked about today. It's very therapeutic. It's lots of singing mantra. It's lots of relaxation. There's body work, and it's in this gorgeous shared community. It's very much based on the kind of ashram living, you know, where
Mm.
everybody kind of contributes. All the food's provided. Pardon me. All the activities are provided, and we've kind of developed this lovely, what I call a heart sangha now. Like, sangha means family or community, and it's really kind of ticked along, and we've got a group now, and so people feel very connected even after the retreats have happened.
Yeah.
Which is something I'd really like to get going in the Northeast, is to create these nice communities where we all feel connected. So basically, that is on May the 1st, for 3 nights, full retreat and activities, food, accommodation, and the prices start at £205.
That's so
Uh,
good. You
it is,
couldn't stay in a B&B for that price for the weekend
I
and getting all
know,
that activity as well. That's
and
an
the food
amazing
is
price.
amazing. We've got a brilliant
Oh,
cook who does it all sort of vegan and vegetarian, but tasty.
wow.
And the settings are just stunning. It's in
Well,
this Northumberland setting, so
I've just recently moved up here, and oh my
yeah.
goodness, how lucky are we up here in the
I
northeast?
know,
We've
I
got such
know.
beautiful countryside, and the light pollution up there is pretty good as well. So if you are into stargazing, you can really get
Yeah.
out and see so much at night time. It's absolutely magical.
Well,
Um,
we have an outdoor fire on one of the nights. They've got a huge big fire pit there, and
oh.
the stars, like you say, are a real treat. Yeah.
Oh, so if I wanted to come on this retreat, how would I go about like finding out more? How could I go about booking?
Yeah. So, I mean, I have a website, but that tends to just be more about the work I offer than being updated with particular events. But I
Uh-huh.
can read that out for you. So, my website is www.freevoice.me.uk. But most informative and up to date and kind of interactive is my Facebook page.
Right.
So, if you looked on Facebook for Free Your Voice, voice work and counselling.
Okay.
You'd be able to find my mantra groups, the retreat, information about my counselling. Also, at the moment, I'm offering something called self-care sessions. So rather than committing to the counselling journey, which can be expensive and time consuming,
Mm-hmm.
I'm offering these one-off self-care sessions that are an hour and a half, and we can look at a specific issue. You might just need to really have what I call a conscious complaint about something right now in your
Yeah.
life, or you might need a bit of direction. It might be more like a kind of coaching session. Or I even say in my remit, if you want, you can just be sung to or read to, have a cup of tea made
Oh,
for
I
you.
love it.
Just a real hour and a half of self-care just for you. So
So important
that's
to
on
have
there
that
too.
time. Yeah, self-care is absolutely vital, isn't it? And I
Oh
love this.
yeah.
It feels like what you're describing is a very sort of solution-focused, objective, kind of focused, empowering,
Yeah.
nurturing session that's going to
Yeah.
really help you. I can imagine
Yeah.
that being quite dynamic help. And you could
Yeah.
just have that in an hour and a half session, which
Yeah.
you can do that. That's realistic.
Well, that's it. Rather than the commitment to
Mm.
say, 10
Months of
sessions,
treatment.
which
Yeah.
which is also really
Mm.
great as well.
Fantastic.
I was going to say, actually, I was
Mm.
thinking when I came on this morning that if anybody's heard this radio interview and has been drawn to anything, I was just going to say that any of my individual things, like the self-care or the counselling, that they could have £15 off.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
or if they wanted to attend the retreat, they could have £20 off the price of that as well. So if you've heard of this via the interview and you want to get in touch,
So get in
um,
touch with Marnie and just drop the name Radio Shields Northeast.
yeah,
You get a
sure, why
discount.
not get a
Oh,
discount?
thank you. That's ace.
Oh,
That's really
that's that.
great.
Yeah,
Thank you so
lovely,
much.
lovely to offer. So I don't
Mm.
suppose I mean, obviously my phone number's on there, but I wouldn't kind of necessarily give that out right now on the
No,
radio.
but
But
if people want to come on, they can go to your website. They can
yeah,
find all your details there, and then they
yeah,
can just pick up the phone and ring you,
yeah.
and book themselves on.
Absolutely. And I'm
Amazing.
always up for a chat about, if they're not sure if it's the group for them or if the
Yeah.
retreat they want to find out more information, I'm happy to clarify anything like that. And I'd
Oh,
love to
brilliant.
grow this community, of singing and mantra and self-care.
Oh,
And
I'm totally joining that community, by the way. Count
you're
me
more than
in.
welcome.
That
Count you
sounds
in.
amazing. I want to be a part of something that feels playful and fun and
Yeah,
joyful, that's
totally.
expressive, that's community based, that's going to help me to feel different, that's going to
Yeah,
drive my mind in a
yeah.
really positive direction. I want to do all of those things. That sounds ace. Like the little inner child in me is going, yeah, singing.
It's
It's so
great for
good.
the inner child, yeah. Honestly, I would do some really daft stuff, so
I
that's nice,
just love
yeah.
it. It sounds amazing. Thank you so much for coming on
Ah, you're
today and
so
chatting
welcome.
with us. And
Yeah.
thank you for the work that you do. I mean, in these troubling
Ah,
times, we really need to
yeah,
touch and connect with that absolute joy of living.
absolutely.
And I think
Yeah,
singing really does very quickly connect you with the joy
yeah,
that is life. And
yeah.
sometimes we need that professional guidance and support as well. And you just
Yeah.
combine the two. It's just your work is amazing. Thank you for what
Ah,
you
thank you
do.
so much. Thanks for
All
saying
right.
that. Thank you.
It's been great having you on. And
Yeah?
all your details on our Radio Shields Facebook page so people can find you and reach out. And let's. I'd love to come on that retreat. It's Beltane that weekend.
It is, yeah.
So
Perfect time.
I'm going to be standing in a henge and welcoming back the light with some.
Oh, gorgeous!
So I was like, I need to go on that retreat, but I can't actually make it to that one. But if you're,
we'll be connecting together.
Yes. If you want to go on that fantastic retreat in Hexham, in the beautiful countryside, in the beautiful surroundings, and you want to do some of that work, you can get in touch with Marnie and do that.
Yeah, wonderful.
Thank you again. Thank you so much for coming on today. It's been awesome having you on.
Yay! All right, have a great day, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.